Are you trying to figure out ways to be more romantic? Well, wonder no more. Hi there, I'm men's dating coach HarryWilmington, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com, and on today's show, we're going to go over 5 ways that you can be more romantic to your dating partner, wife, girlfriend, whatever capacity that she's in your life. You're going to use these tips to be able to really get her more interested and more attracted to you simply by showing her the kind of romance that she's always dreamed about. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of when I post up new daily videos. Also, go to the website to check out my free video training, How to Get Attractive, Feminine, Emotionally Stable Women Dying to Respond to Your First Messages on Dating Apps Without Using Sleazy Pickup Lines, which will give you key secrets to sparking attraction and conversations with women online the smart way. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so you've been dating a girl for a while, or she's your girlfriend, or she's your fiance, or you're married to her, and you may notice that the romance is kind of starting to go a little stale or stagnant, and you want to improve that. But it can be hard after being with somebody long term to start figuring out what you can do to still be romantic. But lo and behold, guys, ultimately, as long as you're trying to show the effort, women will definitely appreciate that and be more open to having those continuing loving feelings for you. But with that said, I definitely want to give you a few things that I feel are going to be able to help you immensely in terms of you being able to show more romance and do it more effectively than you may be doing it now. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first tip I have on how to be more romantic is simply to learn to listen. And I say this because if you are an active listener, then you'll be able to hear when your significant other says something or mentions something that they either like or would want. And that's why I say you have to be an active listener, because sometimes, guy, you might be listening to your partner talk and you know that they're saying words, but you're not really interpreting, and more importantly, you're not really remembering things that they're saying. So for example, a woman might say in passing in a conversation, man, I saw this purse at the mall the other day. It was really nice, but man, it was on sale, but I couldn't afford it at the time because I didn't have the money for it, and I just didn't have time to go into the store and get it. If you just remember that, you might think that's a throwaway conversation, but if you hear that, and then a few weeks later, you surprise her with the purse that she was looking at, that in and of itself is going to be romantic to her, because just the fact that you were able to listen to her, you were able to memorize what she actually said and be able to feel the importance of it as she was saying it, and then go out and either do that thing, or, it might be a certain place she's always wanted to go to, and then you take her there. Like, if you're an active listener, you'll pick up on those things, and then when you do them, the woman's going to be honestly quite shocked that you even remembered it, because most guys she's dated probably up to you usually either just hear her talking but don't interpret it, or don't really hold on to what she's saying, and you did. And that's going to really make you stand out, and it's going to make her feel appreciative that you as her dating partner are actually actively paying attention to what she's saying and showing that you care for her to want to do these things, okay? So that's the first thing. The second way that you can be more romantic in your relationship is to be unpredictable. Over time, as you're dating somebody, things start to become very routine, to where like the stuff you do in the bedroom is the same, the places you guys go to eat together is the same, you watch the same kind of shows, you do certain tasks on certain days of the week, and it can become this thing where it becomes very monotonous. And so when you throw a wrench in all that, and you do something that is out of the norm for what your pattern of your relationship is, then that can be something that's going to be very effective in making her feel romance. This is why women like things like when you just give them flowers on a random day for no reason. Like, most guys, for example, will do this thing where they'll give a gift or flowers or chocolate or whatever on holidays or their birthday. And that's a very predictable thing. Like, she knows you're coming to Valentine's Day with the gift. She knows on her birthday you're going to do some stuff. She knows on Mother's Day you're going to do some stuff. But what about like a random day? Like today's like the 4th of December. It's not a special day. So what if you got your girlfriend flowers like today? Like, how shocked would she be that you got her flowers? Or you say, hey babe, I know we normally go out on Fridays and Saturdays, but let's go out on this Tuesday. Throwing things like that into it, it shows her that you're putting effort into her beyond just the days that she's expected for stuff to happen, okay? And that makes it feel more romantic to her, because it shows that you're still trying to vie for her attention, even when it's not technically being asked of you by way of these various holidays or by way of whatever your normal routine is, okay? It's very important to do that in order to keep those romantic feelings alive for her. The third way that you can be more romantic in your relationship is to tap into the five senses of the body. Okay. Now, for those of you that need a reminder of what those are, for those of us that haven't been in school for a while, the five senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. And each of these things are things that have a tactile memory of some kind attached to them. So when you touch a woman in a certain way, or when you feed her something and she tastes it a certain way, then she's going to have those things be embedded in her memory and equate them to you and how you made her feel these things. So with each of these senses, you can do things to really like pull out those feelings of love and romance. For example, we'll take taste, okay? This is why feeding a woman chocolate in bed is so powerful, because chocolate is an aphrodisiac. It has a taste to it, and it sets off these, endorphins in them that actually get them hornier. So you being able to bring chocolate or having some kind of, for example, smell, like that's why women like candles. That's why in terms of hearing, women like to hear romantic music. It's like all these things get into a woman's mind and set about a euphoria that makes them feel really good. So when you as her man come to her and you're doing these things, you're feeding her certain foods, you're, dressing up in a way that's, like a nice suit or something that's really sexy so she can see that, it's a visual thing. All these things are going to allow you to tap into her sensory mode, and her sensory mode is tied to her emotions and feelings. So when you're doing these things the right way, you're going to make her feel romantic towards you simply because you're doing the things that are necessary to make sure that all of those senses that she has are really getting touched and felt and heard and all that stuff, okay? So make sure that you're doing that. This is why I say for taste, go for chocolates, touching. This is why women really like massages, because if you're doing massages prior to, getting completely physical with her, then you're going to be ramping up her body to expect your touch and desire your touch. With smell, get some good smelling candles. Always wear a nice cologne, because women love guys that wear nice colognes, and they'll be able to like smell that lingering scent and think of you when you're not there. Sight, like I said, try to be trend up and nice. If you can, wear a nice outfit, something that's very at least iron and pressed. And then hearing, when you're around her, this is why playing nice romantic music works. And this is also why speaking in a very low and deep whispering voice is also very, very attractive to women. So that's number 3. Number 4, in keeping with that, also tap into your significant other's love language. I talk so much on this show about the importance of knowing your significant other's love language. And to recap, those that have not heard those shows, The 5 Love Languages is a book by this guy named Gary Chapman, and he talks about how people receive and give out love in one of 5 different ways. And so those ways are physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, and acts of service. So if you go to 5lovelanguages.com with the number 5, both you and your partner can take the little quiz that they have there that'll help determine what your love language is. And it's good to know this, because if you know your woman's love language, then you're going to be able to romance her so much better than any of the other guys she's ever dated. So for example, if you date a woman that her love language is words of affirmation, you now know that your woman's going to like cards with nice things on them, nice love notes. She's going to like being able to hear how great of a person she is or how wonderful you think she is. And like, for example, me, I'm not a words of affirmation person. So if a woman that I'm dating talks to me all the time about how great I am, it doesn't really register with me, because that's not really how I best receive or give love. I'm more of an acts of service and quality time guy. But it's good to know that. So it's also good that way that she'll know what yours is. You guys can back and forth know, okay, my guy is this way, my woman is this way. Here's how we can best show love, so that way the other person knows and feels that I care for them in a romantic sense, okay? So when you're able to know your woman's love language and you're able to actually like start doing things that cater to that love language, she's going to feel immensely more romantic towards you, because you're taking time out to really speak to what her desire is in terms of feeling love and romance, And then the 5th one, how to be more romantic, is to have follow through. And what I mean by that is that there's so many guys that are afraid of either planning dates, or they'll plan to do certain things, or they'll tell their wife, for example, like, oh, I'm going to get this thing fixed or whatever, and then they don't actually follow through, or they don't follow through on a timetable that is more immediate in the present than more so than the future. And women get really, really frustrated by this, because the big thing for them is being able to trust their guy and that he's going to be a man of his word and stick to what he says he's going to do. And when you don't, it starts to chip away at those romantic feelings that she has for you, because now she can't trust you. The more trust you're able to build with your woman, the better it is going to be for your romantic life. And so when you say you're going to do something, when you say you're going to plan a date, when you say you're going to help fix something, whatever, when you do those things, just the simple act of having follow through, she's going to recognize that you recognize that this is important to her and that it helps to build trust. And the fact that you want to build that trust will make her feel romantic feelings for you. So those are the 5 things that you can do to be romantic in your relationship. And then I also have a bonus one. Very, very important, okay? Bonus tip, learn to plan dates without her help. I've said this on the shows before, but it bears repeating, is that women want to feel romanced, and part of feeling romance is feeling as though the guy is really going out of his way to plan things for them to do and to come up with ways to show that you care for her without her having to actively chime in. You know, she doesn't want to have to tell you that she's going to let you know in the course of the relationship, like the things that she likes and dislikes or whatever. And you're going to be able to, as you spend time with her, figure out like what she likes to read, what kind of food she likes to eat, etc. But, you know, a lot of guys get nervous early on with trying to plan dates because they're thinking, I got to get the woman's input in order for her to feel comfortable on this date. Or even as you're dating a woman and you become a boyfriend and whatever, it can still be things where like she's saying, hey, I want to go out to eat. And you're like, well, okay, that's cool, honey. Where do you want to eat? What should we do? Where should we go? And that can kill romance quick because there's still a part of this where you need to be trying to show her that you actually are putting work in to romance her and to be with her. And part of that is being able to plan stuff without her help. And most women I find are perfectly fine just going along with the plan. Like that women these days have jobs and they have to overthink all day at their jobs to be able to get by. When they get home and get to you, most of them do not want to have to overthink things. So that's why they're usually like, hey, wherever you want to go is fine. Whatever you want to eat, let's just do it. You ain't got to ask them, just get them in the car and go. And you will find that doing that is going to make them feel so much more romantically cared for than they do when they have to chip in and help you plan a date, okay? So those are my tips. If you guys have any more tips that you want to share, feel free to share them down in the comments below. And I'd love to hear from you about what other things do you do in order to show that you're being romantic towards your partner. So we can help some other guys in here as well, okay? But take these tips to heart. Again, learn to listen, learn to be unpredictable, tap into her 5 senses, tap into whatever her love languages are, and of course, be sure to have follow through. And in the midst of doing all this, when you're planning dates and stuff, make sure that you're planning it without her help. I promise you, guy, you're gonna get a lot more romance and a lot more loving if you follow these tips. Thanks for watching this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. While there, you can also download a free copy of my ebook, Texting Like a Boss, where you'll learn the kinds of texts that really attract women. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment on this episode, and catch new episodes 7 days a week right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out some other episodes so that you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.